TourBox is this tiny companion for artists of any kind that I actually find super useful on my desk for so many reasons. And this is a new and slick version of it for just $95. Hi guys, my name is Borodante. This video is sponsored by TourBox, and let's actually talk about this TourBox Lite. It's this tiny controller with ergonomic buttons that is meant to replace your big keyboard for the most essential, most useful controls. And its superpower is in its shape and thought through ergonomics, so you can easily learn how to use it. And for a while I've been using the big boy, the TourBox Lite, on this channel, and I really love it, but the main problem with it is its price. Many people find it really hard to justify it, so that's why I'm super excited about TourBox Lite, because this is the version that's making it so much more available to so many people. And I've been using TourBox Lite exclusively for at least 2 weeks now, and I had no problems adjusting to it. So quickly, aside from the price, the main differences are it's a bit smaller, it's a bit lighter, it has a bit simpler controls, it has this new confident design with sharp shapes and a cool play of glossy and matte materials, and it's tethered. It doesn't have a Bluetooth in it. I thought I was gonna be missing some extra buttons and the wireless feature, but considering it simply sits on the desk and you can make so many combinations with it, I was struggling to find any difference in the way I was using it comparing to the Elite version, except for maybe when I was grabbing this wireless version with me when I was going to the kitchen to control music while I'm cooking. But that's about it. Now, from my experience, TourBox is the best with drawing setups, like when you are actually using your drawing tablet. This is where this controller is solving the forever old problem of finding a place for your huge long keyboard. And with all the combinations, you get to have clear and unique controls for anything you want. You get to use a scroll wheel while you're holding a pen. I didn't realize how much I wanted it until I got it. But another important thing about a device like this, and that's like my philosophy about any tool you add to your computer setup, it needs to be useful not only when you're actively working as an artist, like when you're drawing and that's it. And this is where I found TourBox super useful for so many things. I get to control volume, I get to control the brightness of both of my displays, I can switch audio devices, you can do anything you want with it. And all of that is under $100, which is so cool. If you look at any competition from like drawing tablet manufacturers, they all like look cool with their straight and similar buttons, like minimalistic design and everything. But if you try using that, you will easily get lost in those buttons. You need to like look at it. They're clearly not as tactile, where in here it feels like a gaming controller, but for your one hand. That sits very nicely on the table, and it's meant to really fit with your fingers. Like this shape is done with the human hand in mind. To work with TourBox, you use this TourBox console, which is this very powerful app. It's many years in development. It has all kinds of features you can possibly think of. The way I approach TourBox is with one great philosophy. I don't like controllers or like some kind of weird additional features that make you forget the muscle memory of using a keyboard. Because, you know, everything is going from the keyboard anyway. It's keyboard shortcuts that we're mapping. So it's not cool as a professional artist to forget the actual keyboard muscle memory. And what's cool about TourBox is if you put your fingers on it, you're kind of having Alt, Shift, Control, and Space. So that's usually what I start with for any app. And the main knob is gonna control your most useful feature about your brush or something. There's enough combinations for all the settings of any brush. Now, about the actual drawing setup and how TourBox looks in action. So it goes on the left side like this, and I'll position my drawing display on the right side. Something like this. Let me make it a bit darker though. So this is it, this is the setup. The keyboard goes in front, and my hands just work with the pen and with this little controller. As you guys may know, I really value the good posture when I'm drawing. That's why my laptop is positioned very tall, so it would be on my eye level. And for the good posture, I really value how with TourBox I can position my arms symmetrically, which reflects on the symmetrically positioned spine. Now in Photoshop here, I have the control over everything, so I can easily control the brush size. With just this one main knob over here, I can do everything. So the size, this way I'm controlling the opacity, and this way I'm controlling the flow. So here's stronger flow or much weaker. And all of the essentials are here. I'm grabbing the colors, I'm switching tools, I'm duplicating layers, I'm moving them around, I'm merging them down, I'm creating clean layers, I'm deleting those layers. I have a selection tool, I have a move tool, the brush, the mixer brush, I can deselect, I have the finger tool and eraser brush as well. I'm not even using all the combos on this lighter version, it's still so many of them. And what's really cool about it is that it all makes sense because you can organize things thanks to the fact that this is actual combos and not just an array of buttons that you need to memorize one by one. If I'm holding the top button and combine it with different things, all of those commands are for layer actions, for instance. So it's very clean and easy to memorize while you don't have to do kung fu all over your keyboard to change different settings of the brush. And it's really important that I never have to look away from the canvas. My hand knows TourBox better than I do. It's like I don't remember all the commands I assigned to it, but when I just put my hand on it, it just happens. And when you need to actually type, that's where you can actually use the keyboard that is fully available, because it's not shoved under the tablet the way I used to do it before. I don't know how other people do it, but it's always a struggle where to put your keyboard. And speaking of using TourBox when you're not actually drawing, since as I said, it's really important to have your tools that you pay for serving you all the time, not just when you're drawing. Like for instance, my drawing display will be put right here under the main display of my laptop, and it's a fully functional second display. And TourBox supports global mode, meaning it works in the rest of the system. I use the main knob to control the volume, I press on it to play pause, these two buttons for previous next track, stuff like that. But another few things that I really like is using certain very cool tiny utilities that are free and you can find them whenever you need them. My favorite ones are Twinkle Tray, which lets you control the brightness of any display you have connected, and you can easily map those commands to TourBox, so now I simply control the brightness of any display I want at any time. Another cool little piece of software is this sound switch, and sound switch lets you control all of your playback devices and all of your recording devices at one place. And you can actually use shortcuts to switch like this between audio devices and between recording devices. And finally, this is very dependent on what kind of computer you have, but I have this Asus laptop, and this cool little piece of software called G Helper lets you control everything about it, but also it exposes shortcuts to control the performance modes of your laptop. So now I can simply press a quick combo right here to switch between turbo mode, balanced, or silent. So yeah, this is it. This is TourBox Lite. I find it to be a very powerful little controller. It lets me focus on the work without having to move my hands or eyes away from what I'm doing. And I think it's really important that it can be really useful even when you're not working. You guys have seen me using TourBox on the channel before, and you will be seeing me using it in the future. But now we have this cool new version with a fresh design that's under $100, which I think makes it the best offer to improve your setup. So yeah, this is it. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions or any thoughts, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I'll try to answer as many as possible. And I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! No tool like a scroll wheel for your left hand.